Hello. We are continuing through chapter 3. We are going to talk about a new way to look, a new equation that we haven't really looked at much, and it's called standard form, and it looks like that. Our essential question is, how can you describe the graph of the equation ax plus by equals c? We're going to talk all about that here shortly. I do want to make sure I point out that the title and the essential question needs to be in your notes. So first we need to talk about standard form. In fact, ignore this because we're not talking about those quite yet. Ignore that part. The standard form of a linear equation looks like this, where A, B, and C are numbers. Okay? A and B won't both be 0. You could have AX equals C or BY equals C. Okay? Which we'll talk about here in a minute. But basically, what this is saying is that standard form looks something like this. Okay, so that the A, the B, and the C are numbers. Okay, they could be fractions, they could be negative, but this is what we call the standard form. We've already seen y equals mx plus b, which we're going to talk about more tomorrow and forever. So write down what you need to write down. Back up without my scribbles. I'll get rid of that scribble for you. So here's the part about horizontal and vertical lines. They're special in that they're horizontal or they're vertical. You need to make sure you know what those two words mean. Horizontal is like flat, like the horizon, and vertical is up and down, straight up and down, like a side of a mountain that I don't want to climb. You absolutely have to remember this, okay? That a horizontal line is going to be y equals some number, 2 or 4 or negative 3, okay? Y equals is horizontal. And vertical is always x equals just a number. X equals just a number. If you see y equals some number, then you know it's a horizontal line. If you see x equals some number, then you know that it is a vertical line. Take a minute, memorize this, get this in your head, figure out a way for you to remember this. It is so important, and it keeps coming back over and over and over again. And it should be an easy thing when we're graphing and stuff, but you forget, and then it becomes a difficult thing. So, memorize it. So, here we need to graph y equals 4. Well, I forgot to put graphs on here, so I'm just going to make myself a little graph here and say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is what you need to be doing in your assignments too. It doesn't have to be pretty, just make yourself a little graph, okay? You'll find real quick, mine aren't ever very pretty. Okay, and y equals 4. Okay, y equals 4. Is that going to be horizontal or vertical? Hopefully you've memorized this screen. Y equals means it's horizontal, where y equals 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where y equals 4, and we have a line. That's it. You've graphed y equals 4. Good job. Okay, now remember, one way to remember this is that if it's y equals 4, it's where y equals 4, which is right there, okay? And it's never going to run along the axis unless it's a 0 number there. So remember that it's always going to go the other way from the axis, wherever that point is. Maybe that helps you. If I just confused you, I'm sorry. And then we have where x equals negative 2. So we need to find x equals negative 2. Remember, this is the x-axis, so that's negative 2 over there. And x equals is vertical, So we've got a vertical line right there. You're done. Beautiful. Good job. These should be the easiest lines that you graph. And we're going to graph a lot of lines together. For example, we're going to start by using our standard form. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you this again in class, but I'm going to do my, because to me, it's a very visual and I need to use my hands, but I'm going to do my best here. So all of this is a lot of words to say that you have an x-intercept where your line crosses the x-axis, and a y-intercept where your x crosses the y-axis. That x-intercept is going to be that x value, comma 0. So if we had a graph that looked like this, and that was our x-intercept would be 2, 0. That's a 0, sorry. I don't know why I'm not using my pen, sorry. And then if we had a y-intercept over up here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 0, 3. So your intercepts always have one of your coordinates as a 0. That's basically what this is. You can write it all down if you want. Write down how you're going to remember it. Maybe watch the rest of this video and then come back to this to make notes. Your notes are for you to be able to go back to and learn from. So we need to graph this equation that is in standard form, ax plus by equals c. Okay? So we need to figure out what is going to be in those two spots. Okay? This is so much easier than you are going to believe. Okay? So in order to find the y-intercept, which would be this guy, right? Just cover up with your finger or pencil or cross out the x. So to figure out the y, cross out the x and solve. So divide by 4 and y equals 3. Same thing to find the x, cross out the y, or cover it up or something, and say 3x equals 12. Solve for x, and we get 4 as our x value when y is 0. The reason that we can do this is that if we put a 0 in there for the y, right, this 0, if we put that 0 in there for the y, that gives us 0. So it's 3x plus 0. So it's easier to just think about it as covering up. It's more fun too. Okay? And then we can graph those 2 points. So we're going to call that our axis there. So x would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. And y would be 0, 1, 2, 3. And we have a line there. Always put your arrows on the end of your lines. Again, you're graphing these, creating these graphs, just sketching them on your own. They don't have to be pretty, they don't have to be exact, but they do need to show me that you understand what you're doing, and you need to include your points as part of your answer. Let's try another one. Okay, so in order to find our y, remember we're going to find 2 points, right? So to find the y, we cover up the x and do 2y equals 6, divide by 2, and we get y equals 3. To find our x, we cover up the y, and that gives us x equals 6. Oh, we don't have to do any math. Yay. X equals 6. And then don't forget to actually do the graphing part, please. Okay. It would be nice if I could draw a straight line, huh? I can't draw a straight line on the board either, just FYI. So we've got the point 0, 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we have the point 6, 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. And then we can connect them with a moderately straight line and arrows on the end. And look at you, you have now graphed your first graphs in Math 1. Good job. We don't use standard form to graph as much as we use what we're going to learn tomorrow, so that's why we're just moving on to the different graphing tomorrow. But it is important to know, and it's good because then if you're given an equation like that, you can do it like this. Please let me know if you have questions.